So I just got this in the mail from my good friend Zach Broyles, fellow podcast host and founder and owner of Mythos pedals in Nashville, Tennessee. So if you haven't listened to our podcast, Dipped in Tone, we've been talking over there for months about Zach getting into pickup winding, making his own pickups. And that has led to this. These are wound by Porter pickups. Zach didn't make these himself, Porter did. And these aren't a clone of anything in particular. These apparently are supposed to be Zach's ideal humbucker, his perfect sound, if you will, for a good Les Paul. So he sent them to me because he wants me to test them out and give him feedback, and so I'm gonna throw them in my Les Paul today. But he included one other thing in the box, which I'm actually even more excited to try out than the pickups. This is a treble bleed circuit, and I'm gonna end up installing this on either the neck or the bridge volume pot, and hopefully it should make a big difference in the sound of the guitar. Before we get into that though, a quick plug. Please subscribe. According to my analytics, still over 60% of the people that watch this channel on a regular basis are not subscribed, and it really does help the channel out when you click that red button. We're coming up on 500,000 subscribers, and I'd love to get there. So I appreciate all the support you show me here on the channel, and thank you for subscribing. Now, this guitar is a 2019 Gibson USA standard. This was one of the first runs of the new Gibson leadership, and it's a fantastic guitar. It's a really good Les Paul. Now, these pickups are not stock, and actually neither are these plastics, but that doesn't matter. But these are a set of Wiz PAFs. Wiz sent these out to me a few years ago, and I do think they were a step above the stock Gibson pickups. It was a worthy upgrade. Now, the point of this video is not to shoot these pickups out against these pickups. These Mythos pickups are just prototypes. Zach wants me to put them in, to play test them, and tell him what I think needs to change, if anything. But I will record the Wiz pickups so you can hear them in comparison to the Mythos. Then once that's done, I'm gonna install the treble bleed circuit on one of the two volume pots. I'm not exactly sure which one yet. So with all that out of the way, let's head downstairs to my workshop, fire up the soldering iron, and pull these pickups out. All right, so I've got the Les Paul on the workbench. I went ahead and unsoldered the pickups, and so I'm gonna pull those out now, and I'm not getting rid of them. I'm gonna save them. These are really good PAFs, and so they'll end up going in something else. But I'm gonna get the Mythos set ready to put in, and one thing that I like about these is they've got the engraving on the back side of the pickup there that shows you exactly what position it is and the output of each individual pickup, so you don't actually have to measure it, which is a super nice touch. And also, I asked Zach to wear the covers a little bit. I hate shiny pickup covers. It's like chrome wheels on a car. I absolutely hate it. All right, so the Wiz pickups are out. This is my least favorite part of a pickup swap on a Les Paul, and that is swapping the rings over. It's so unbelievably finicky with these screws and these springs in here. I did measure the pickups to make sure I get the heights correct when we swap them out, so that, you know, it's a relatively fair comparison. But again, the point of this video is not to do a shootout. So anyways, I'm gonna pull these out, box them up, save them for another guitar.
So, the Mythos humbucker set. This is my attempt to distill the classic PAF tone in a non-clone capacity. So at its core, it's got all the right stuff. 42 gauge plain enamel wire. It's got rough cast Alnico 2 magnets in both the neck and the bridge. But we're doing some stuff that's a little bit different, you know, adding some neat stuff on the back. And the way that we've wound the coils in this pickup are kind of unique and give it a really nice balance, clarity, push, and voice that retains all that classic PAF stuff and doesn't sound lifeless, doesn't sound boring. It just works really well in most of the guitars we've tried. So I'm excited to do this. I've been working with the guys at Porter Pickups to get these things made because unfortunately I don't have the time to wind them. But yeah, really excited about the Mythos Humbucker Set V1.
I have to say I'm actually really impressed with these pickups. Now these Wiz PAFs are not bad at all. These are incredible pickups, but this Mythos set is just giving me a little bit more, especially on the top end. There's more presence, there's more bite, there's more articulation on the notes, especially on the neck pickup. It just sounds clearer, almost like a Telecaster on steroids, which to me is how a good Les Paul should sound. A truly great late 50s, early 60s style Les Paul should sound like a really beefy, powerful Telecaster. And I think these pickups are doing that quite well. But I did notice when rolling off the neck volume, it's getting really, really dark. So I actually think a treble bleed is going to be a worthy upgrade, at least for the neck pickup. Now, thankfully, Zach included a wiring diagram here for me, which I'm going to need. It looks pretty simple. So according to this wiring diagram, I need to go in between the middle lug and the bottom lug of my neck volume pot, which is here. So I'm going to try and get this in position right here, and we'll see how it goes. I should point out that I'm really terrible with fine sort of small detail work like this. I'm not very handy. I'm not a good technician. I mean, you can tell by my solder joints in here that I barely know how to solder, but as long as this works, doesn't really matter what it looks like to me.
Okay, so a treble bleed is a sort of high-pass filter. When you solder this onto your guitar's volume pot, when you turn your volume knob down, it's going to cut lows. It'll let the highs through, high pass. Highs come through, but the lows don't, so you retain all that clarity and note definition, even if you don't normally like the taper of your volume pot. They typically come in like a cap resistor arrangement. There's all sorts of ways to do it, but it's a simple mod that can help if you don't like how your volume pot interacts with you as a player or how it interacts with your pedal board. But it's an interesting thing you can try. You can make your own, you can buy them. Mythos is working on a little selectable one, so there's a lot of ways to go about it, but it's a cool mod that is cheap to try.
Okay, wow, that's actually a pretty noticeable difference. With the treble bleed on, I'm noticing, especially with all this gain coming from the amplifier, that I'm still maintaining a lot of that top end and that articulation, a lot of that bite, and a lot of the presence that I wasn't getting from this neck pickup, even the new neck pickup before. As I was rolling off the volume on the neck, it got darker and muddier and darker, which on a Les Paul I think is oftentimes not that usable of a sound, a really dark, muddy neck pickup sound. I want it to be nice and clear sounding. Which it is. That's with the volume at 3.5. Here it is at 2. This is 5. All the way up. That's actually pretty huge. Yeah, I have to say, this is a very, very worthy upgrade. I'm super happy with these new pickups, and I'm especially happy with that treble bleed. I think I'm gonna put another one in for the bridge pickup as well, because I really like using my guitar's volume controls to change the tone and change the feel of the guitar. And there's oftentimes nothing better than having a really overdriven, really saturated amp, either from an amp or a fuzz pedal or an overdrive, and then rolling your guitar's volume off to get a nice, fat, warm, kind of clean sound. And I think that's made even better and even more effective by this treble bleed circuit. I can't believe I haven't done this before. I think this is my first guitar with a treble bleed, and it's killer. Huge thanks to my friend Zach at Mythos Effects, and now I guess Mythos Pickups. Like I said, these are prototypes. I'm not sure when these are gonna be available, but I'll have Mythos and everything linked down in the description box below. And also check out Dipped in Tone. We're posting episodes pretty regularly, and if you like this kind of stuff, I think you'll dig our podcast. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for doing so. My name is Rhett Shull, and remember, there is no plan B.